People of God, as we stand at the doorway of a new season, I want you to understand something very important. A new year does not change a man, but a renewed mind changes everything. You can step into 2026 with the same calendar and yet remain in the same cage. Or you can step into 2026 with a transformed way of thinking and enter a new realm of living. What determines your outcome is not the date on the calendar, but the state of your heart. Many people are excited about the number, excited about resolutions, excited about declarations, but they forget that life responds not to noise, but to alignment. As I speak to you today, I am not speaking to your emotions. I am speaking to your spirit. Because when the spirit is aligned, the body will follow and the future will obey. You don't start a new year by shouting louder. You start a new year by thinking deeper. You don't conquer a new season by running faster. You conquer it by seeing clearer. The battles of 2026 will not first be fought in the streets or offices. They will be fought in the mind. If you lose there, you lose everywhere. Many enter a new year carrying old offenses, old fears, old disappointments, and they wonder why nothing changes. Listen to me carefully. You cannot move forward while consulting your past for permission. The mind you carry into 2026 will decide whether that year becomes a testimony or a repetition. God does not release new wine into an old mindset. He waits, not because he is unwilling, but because he is wise. He knows that capacity determines sustainability. As you step into 2026, start with this mind. A mind that is calm in the storm. A mind that is anchored in truth. A mind that is not ruled by urgency, but by obedience. Many people are in a hurry, but very few are in alignment. Speed without direction is dangerous. Activity without understanding is exhaustion. God is not impressed by how busy you are. He is moved by how yielded you are. Let me tell you this, the enemy does not fear your plans. He fears your discernment. He does not fear your effort. He fears your stillness in God. Because a man who can be quiet before God cannot be confused by men. When you start 2026 with a quiet mind, you will hear instructions others will miss. While others panic, you will perceive. While others react, you will respond. This is not weakness. This is strength under control. Some of you are entering 2026 with wounds you never allowed God to heal. You learned how to function with pain, how to smile with bitterness, how to pray with resentment. But hear me, pain that is not healed will eventually shape your decisions. You will call it wisdom, but it will be fear. You will call it caution, but it will be mistrust. Start 2026 with a healed mind, because an unhealed mind will misinterpret God's intentions. God is more concerned about who you are becoming than what you are achieving. Achievement without transformation is success that expires. Many have climbed high, but are empty inside. They reached their goals, but lost their peace. This year, refuse to sacrifice your inner life on the altar of outward success. Peace is not a luxury, it is a weapon. When you have peace, you think clearly. When you think clearly, you choose wisely. When you choose wisely, you move safely. As you begin 2026, adopt a mind that understands timing. Not everything that is good is God, and not everything that is delayed is denied. Impatience has ruined more destinies than failure. Some doors are closed not because God is against you, but because you are not ready for what is behind them. A wise mind does not force doors, it prepares keys. Preparation is proof of trust. I want you to understand this truth. Faith is not pretending there is no problem. Faith is trusting God in the presence of problems. Do not start 2026 by denying reality. Start it by submitting reality to God. When you acknowledge your weakness, God reveals His strength. When you admit you don't know, God begins to instruct you. Pride closes ears. Humility opens heavens. Many people are praying for change, but they resist correction. You cannot grow beyond the level of correction you are willing to accept. Correction is not rejection, it is direction. When God corrects you, He is investing in you. If He did not care, He would leave you as you are. So as you enter 2026, welcome correction. Let God rearrange your thinking, confront your assumptions, and challenge your comfort. This year, start with a disciplined mind. Discipline is not punishment, it is protection. A disciplined mind knows when to speak and when to be silent, when to move and when to wait. Many problems come not from what we do, but from when we do it. Timing is spiritual. The right thing at the wrong time becomes the wrong thing. Ask God not just for ideas, but for timing. Do not begin 2026 comparing your journey to others. Comparison is an insult to God's design. You were not created to compete. You were created to complete an assignment. When you compare, you distract yourself from your purpose. What God is doing in another person's life may not be what He is doing in yours. Stay in your lane. A focused mind makes steady progress. I want to speak to those who feel tired, those who feel like they have tried everything. Listen, exhaustion is not always a sign of too much work. Sometimes it is a sign of too much self-effort. When you carry what God never asked you to carry, you will break under the weight. As you enter 2026, learn the freedom of surrender. Surrender is not giving up. It is handing over. When you hand over, God steps in. Start this year with a mind that trusts God's process. Process is where character is formed. Everyone wants the promise, but few respect the process. The process will humble you, stretch you, and sometimes confuse you, but it will never waste you. God uses seasons you don't understand to prepare you for blessings you cannot imagine. Don't rush what God is refining. This year, guard your mind carefully. What you allow into your mind will shape your expectations, and your expectations will shape your experiences. Be selective about voices. Not every opinion deserves your attention. Not every criticism deserves your response. Protect your peace. Peace is expensive. Don't give it away cheaply. As you start 2026, choose a mind that forgives quickly. Unforgiveness is a prison you build for yourself while waiting for someone else to suffer. Forgiveness does not excuse wrong behavior. It releases your heart from poison. When you forgive, you don't change the past, but you free the future. A free mind moves faster than a burdened one. Let your mind be rooted in gratitude. Gratitude keeps you aware of God's faithfulness. When you forget what God has done, you begin to doubt what He can do. Gratitude is memory with humility. It reminds you that you are still standing, not because you are strong, but because God is faithful. I want you to enter 2026 with a mind that listens more than it speaks. Silence before God is not empty. It is full of answers. Many speak too quickly and hear too late. If you will learn to wait, God will teach you what to say, where to go, and when to act. Waiting is not wasting time. It is investing trust. This year, reject the mind of fear. Fear magnifies problems and minimizes God. Fear will make you settle for less than God's best. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is obedience in spite of fear. Step forward even when your knees shake. God does not need your confidence, He needs your obedience. Start 2026 with a mind that is eternal. Do not measure success only by what you gain, but by who you become. One day titles will fade. Money will lose its shine. Applause will fall silent, but your relationship with God will remain. Invest where eternity can see. People of God, as I stand before you, I sense that this year will not be won by those who are loud, but by those who are deep. Not by those who rush, but by those who are rooted. Not by those who know everything, but by those who trust God completely. Start 2026 with this mind, and you will not merely survive the year. You will grow through it, walk through it with purpose, and finish it with testimony. The year will not define you. You will define the year by the mind you carry into it. People of God, hear me clearly as I speak to you from a place of truth and understanding. The year will never rise above the level of the mind that enters it. Time is neutral. Days have no power of their own. Months carry no bias. A year does not decide your outcome. The mind you carry into that year gives it instruction. Many people blame seasons, blame years, blame circumstances, but few examine the mindset that interprets everything they experience. What you command in life is not decided by what you wish for, but by what your mind is trained to recognize, accept, and respond to. A man may step into the same year as another man, walk under the same sky, face the same economy, hear the same news, yet experience a completely different outcome. Not because God loves one more than the other, but because one carries a mind that discerns purpose, while the other carries a mind that reacts to pressure. Life responds to position. What you perceive as a threat, another perceives as an opportunity. What you call delay, another calls preparation. The difference is not the year. The difference is the mind. Understand this truth deeply. The mind is the gateway to dominion. Before anything manifests physically, it is first permitted mentally. You cannot command externally what you have not accepted internally. Many are praying for authority, but they still think like victims. Many are asking for elevation, but their minds are still negotiating with fear. Heaven does not empower confusion. God partners with clarity. When your mind is settled, your steps become order. The mind you carry decides whether pressure breaks you or builds you. Pressure does not destroy a man. Pressure reveals him. When pressure comes, it does not create weakness. It exposes it. If your mind is anchored, pressure refines you. If your mind is unstable, pressure scatters you. That is why some collapse under situations others grow stronger in. The environment did not change. The mindset did. As you move forward, understand that thoughts are not harmless. Thoughts are seeds. Every repeated thought is a direction. What you consistently think about, you gradually move toward. If your mind is filled with fear, your decisions will shrink. If your mind is filled with trust, your actions will expand. You do not rise suddenly. You think your way upward. You do not fall accidentally. You drift there through unchecked thoughts. Many people speak about faith, but their minds are trained in survival, not in trust. They pray big prayers, but make small decisions. They quote scriptures, but expect failure. The mouth may confess faith, but the mind negotiates defeat. God responds to alignment, not slogans. When the mind and the heart agree, movement begins. Listen to me carefully. The mind you carry will decide what you permit. What you permit eventually becomes permanent. When your mind tolerates mediocrity, excellence feels uncomfortable. When your mind tolerates dishonor, Respect becomes foreign. When your mind tolerates chaos, peace feels strange. Many reject blessings not because they are bad, but because their minds are not familiar with order. A trained mind does not panic when things go quiet. Silence does not frighten a discerning mind because it understands that silence is often where instructions are formed. But an untrained mind needs noise to feel alive. It needs constant reassurance, constant movement, constant validation. Such a mind cannot command a year. It is controlled by it. The year obeys structure. Life responds to discipline. Freedom without discipline is destruction disguised as liberty. A disciplined mind knows how to wait without anxiety and how to move without haste. It understands timing. It respects process. It does not rush harvest without honoring seed time. Many want results they have not prepared their minds to manage. When the mind is not renewed, success becomes dangerous. Promotion without mental maturity is exposure. Increase without wisdom is a trap. That is why some pray for growth, but God delays it. It is not punishment, it is protection. God will not give you what your mind will misuse. The mind you carry decides how you interpret God's silence. An immature mind interprets silence as abandonment. A mature mind interprets silence as trust. When God is quiet, He is not absent. He is observing. He is watching what you do when there is no instruction, how you respond when there is no applause, how you remain when there is no evidence. A mind trained in truth does not chase every opportunity. It discerns assignments. Not every open door is your door. Some doors are distractions dressed as blessings. Without discernment, a year becomes crowded with activity, but empty of purpose. You can be busy all year and still be barren. Understand that fear is not always loud. Sometimes fear sounds like wisdom. It speaks politely. It uses logic. It quotes past pain. It reminds you of past failures. If your mind is not anchored, you will call fear being realistic. But realism without faith is limitation. Faith does not deny reality. It submits reality to God. The mind you carry will decide how you respond to correction. A proud mind resists correction and repeats cycles. A humble mind receives correction and breaks patterns. Correction is not an attack. It is an invitation to growth. Those who cannot be corrected cannot be trusted with command. Every year tests focus. Distraction is not accidental. It is strategic. The enemy does not need to stop you if he can scatter you. A distracted mind cannot command outcomes. It starts many things and finishes few. It confuses motion with progress. A focused mind moves quietly but effectively. Do not underestimate the power of consistency. Breakthrough is rarely dramatic. It is often the result of small, disciplined choices repeated daily. The mind that values consistency over excitement will command stability. Those who live for excitement live at the mercy of emotions. Emotions are unstable leaders. The mind you carry decides whether you live reactively or intentionally. A reactive mind waits for events to decide behavior. An intentional mind decides behavior before events occur. When trouble comes, an intentional mind does not ask, "What will I do?" It already knows. Many people want a different year, but they refuse a different way of thinking. They want new results with old patterns. They want change without discomfort. Transformation is uncomfortable because it confronts identity. You cannot think new thoughts and remain the same person. A commanding mind is rooted in truth, not feelings. Feelings are real, but they are not reliable. Truth anchors you when feelings shift. When feelings say stop, Truth says stand. When feelings say retreat, truth says advance. A mind governed by truth remains steady under pressure. Learn this peace is not the absence of conflict. It is the presence of confidence in God. A peaceful mind is not careless. It is settled. It does not rush to defend itself. It does not panic under accusation. It does not collapse under misunderstanding. Peace preserves clarity. The mind you carry decides the voices you listen to. Not every voice deserves access. Too many voices create confusion. Confusion weakens authority. A man who listens to everyone ends up obeying no one. Choose voices that sharpen, not those that entertain. Gratitude is a mental posture. A grateful mind stays aware of God's faithfulness. It remembers past victories during present battles. Gratitude prevents entitlement. Entitlement blinds people to grace. When you think you deserve everything, you appreciate nothing. Forgiveness is also a decision of the mind. Unforgiveness is emotional baggage that distorts perception. When the mind is bitter, even blessings feel suspicious. Forgiveness clears vision. It does not rewrite history, but it releases the future. A commanding mind understands that delay is not denial. Waiting seasons are not wasted seasons. Waiting trains restraint. It strengthens trust. It removes pride. Those who cannot wait cannot rule. Authority is given to those who can govern themselves. The mind you carry will decide how you handle success. Some fail in failure, others fail in success. Success tests character more than hardship. When success comes, an anchored mind remains humble, teachable, and dependent on God. Life will always present uncertainty. A strong mind does not demand certainty before obedience. It moves with trust. Obedience is not based on understanding. It is based on relationship. When you trust God, you move even when you don't see the full picture. People of God, the year will respond to what you consistently think, believe, and permit. You do not command a year with declarations alone. You command it with discipline, discernment, and alignment. The mind you carry will decide whether the year controls you or you establish authority within it.